Well, hello everyone. Welcome to another art and conversation with Farrin. It's a beautiful day here, and we are with our today artist, she's from Massachusetts, and she create the most beautiful spring and colorful artwork, I should say. Karen Fitzgerald, if I pronounce your last name correctly. Karen is a photographer, painter, and teacher. She's based in Massachusetts and creating beautiful, colorful watercolor, as well as she's a photographer. Karen, welcome to our conversation.
Thank you very much, Farrin. This is a wonderful opportunity for me, and I really appreciate you taking the time to interview me and have this conversation. Actually,
thank you for accepting to be in our show. It's an honor for us, and we would love to hear about you, who you are, how you became an artist, a little bit about your work and your background, Karen.
Okay, I guess I always liked to do art, and I kind of fell in love with the media of watercolor at a very early age at a private little class, Saturday class. Teacher used to take us outside and we would paint. So I ended up pursuing art in college. I got a BA in visual arts, and then I got a master's in art education, and I started teaching art. I started teaching elementary art right out of college. I did that for 10 years. And then I had a little problem with my pregnancy and they put me to bed. So I left teaching, and I started doing, I had a friend that was a realtor, and I started doing house portraits for her while I was in bed with my pregnancy. And actually, it turned out to be really a fun thing to do. I ended up doing a house portrait, and also they used to bring me, it was really a good learning experience. They'd bring me blueprints that they had for commercial buildings that they needed a picture of a mock-up. And it was kind of hard to try to figure that out. But anyways, I would actually try to figure out what they wanted to build and do the drawing. It's because they were trying to save money, I think, and they didn't go to an architect. I probably shouldn't put this in this, but I would do the mock-up for them because I was friends with them, and they would pay me a little bit. And so I ended up staying home with my kids for 13 years doing this. However, college was around the corner and they all want, so I threw my applications around. I ended up going back to teaching. And but the teaching, what happened is that the opening, they said, "Oh, we'll hire you back, Karen." I went right back to the same system that I was teaching in. But you have to be the photography teacher. That's the only opening we have. So I became the photography teacher. And I went, oh my God, I haven't done that in years. How am I going to do this? But I did, I rushed back to, I went to the School and Museum of Fine Arts, and I took some photo classes, and then I took some digital classes. And I was ready to go back and start the year and start teaching photography. It was darkroom photography. I hadn't done that since college. But anyways, it was fun. And I did that almost exclusively on the high school level for 14 years. Wow. So anyways, I taught photography, and then, but I'd always go home, and when I had on free time, I would do watercolors because it's always been my favorite media. And
which of these you most known with, your photography or your watercolor?
it's kind of interesting because it's almost, I was trying when I retired, I wanted to move into just watercolor. But what happened is a couple of my photos, the two on the bottom here, are film pieces that you're looking at. The one with the kids is an infrared photo, which I used to do with my students, and the other one is just straight film. And I threw some photos in, a few that I had, because I did a lot of photos when I was teaching. And I got into some things. So I decided not to quit the photo. So I'm still doing both. So in some circles, I'm known as a photographer, and in other circles, I'm known as a watercolors.
Yes.
So with NAWA, I have exhibited both, which was really kind of nice. I've gotten an award from you guys for my photo, and I've also gotten an award for my watercolor. So it's like, although I spend more time working in and studying watercolor, every once in a while I'll take a picture and I'll say, oh, that is a good picture, and I'll enter it somewhere, and it usually my gut feeling is right. So it's hard for me to divide it. I really do both.
Yeah.
But
So
my I would say my passion is watercolor, and my love of photography has not waned. I do like black and white, but I do a lot of digital as well.
Yeah. So, but I'm sure, like, sometimes, I mean, as a question which I'm curious to ask, sometimes, for example, you take a picture and then you ended up to paint that picture, right? So it's because I often you do your watercolor from your photo that you took.
I never do it exactly the way I do use my photos. When I do a lot of plein air painting in the spring through the fall, and when I'm out there painting, I'll take a lot of pictures. And when I get home, I'll look at the pictures, and some of them some of them, the better photos, I'll never paint. They'll just send them as pictures. But the three that you have up here, for instance, are three different ways I've used photo with them. The top one, I was at Glass Labyrinth. I was at a fair, and there was and I clicked those pictures. There were kids running through this glass labyrinth, and the reflections on the windows I thought were awesome. And I knew I wanted to paint one of these. So I kind of combined some of those looks to make this picture, but I saw it, and I knew it would make a good painting. The photos that I took were pretty blurry. I've never shown the photos. The two on the bottom are two pictures that when my mother had dementia in her later years. When I went to visit her, I happened to be sitting opposite her, and I saw the picture again, and I liked the reflection of my mother in the mirror. So I clicked a lot of pictures. The room was fairly very bright. The pictures are not really good. So I never have shown the pictures, but I've used the photos to design a composition with my mother. And the other one is one I set up at home. I actually set the still life up, and I took pictures, and I combined a couple of pictures, and I used the pictures to make that still life. So those are three different ways that I use photos to do paintings. And none of these pictures I've ever shown as photos. They're just my paintings.
Okay. Okay, so it's not, yeah, I mean, all these are watercolor, right?
Yes, these are all watercolor. I've shown Visiting Mom, actually, with NAWA, was accepted in a show. The other two have also been accepted to national shows. That's can't remember which ones, to tell you the truth, but the bottom one was accepted from the Allied, not Allied, the Academic Artists Association accepted that for their regional national show. And the one on top, I think I might have shown that with local NAWA, Massachusetts NAWA.
Okay.
Okay, in these pictures,
what's that? I mean, I see a lot of nature in your work, so I just believe that's what your inspiration come from, right? I mean,
well, that's true, because I started doing florals when I first retired. So these are recent florals that I've done. I just finished the orchids. I just finished that one. Summer Lilies is on Yupo. I tried different things too. This was a scene that when I went out painting, plenty of last summer, or maybe 2 summers ago, with my group, I took lots of pictures, and then this is very large Yupo. I've expanded into doing very large Yupo, which is, and I have shown this one, and I had a major show last year with Rhode Island where I showed many pieces, large pieces, and this was one of them that I've shown. It has alcohol ink. It's kind of mixed media and some watercolor crayon in it, but mostly watercolor. I like how I like using the media of watercolor over the alcohol ink.
Yeah.
And that was a scene that I saw outside. And then the one on the side there, the amaryllis, was I did in the winter, actually, or about this time last year. A very dear friend had sent me this amaryllis for Christmas. And so I watched it bloom, and these are different stages of that amaryllis that I put together. And actually it just won first prize at a national online show for Rhode Island Watercolor Society. So
you took picture, right? You took picture of different process.
I took pictures. Actually, I took pictures, but I also did a lot of sketching of this. I do a lot of sketching. I do a lot of value studies, especially of the amaryllis. I did that, and also the orchids. I do. Sometimes I'll take a picture, and I'll do I'll print out a black and white, and then I'll circle the values. I divided up the values so I have a light against a dark. And anyways,
I have actually your website open to, I mean, it's just I want to show it for everyone if they want to see more of your work. You can see, and it's been separated each subject and etc. And you have some video. I mean, so I think you're also painting from life too, right?
Oh yes, I do plein air from the spring until the fall. I have been out. I really don't paint out in the snow. I'm not that brave. Even if I was a skier in my younger age, I prefer to paint indoors, and that's when I do a lot of my still lifes and things like that, and work from photos. Yeah, so this is
I just want to scan through this one of the videos and then to show the process. I find it interesting to see how you start from beginning to end.
Yeah, this is when I was doing plein air. This is one of the farms that we were in, and then these are some of the cows. I made these videos for my plein air, for my little watercolor group. In the wintertime, we do Zooms and to stay together, and they all do little things, and they wanted me to show them how I do my full sheet. So this was what I did that. I showed them basically this is my dog I put up, but I kind of showed, I made these videos for them. Actually, they're not really all that polished, but it's for my group. And I use these, I find using these little cups to put my paints in, the little yogurt cups to put paint in. I keep my colors clean, and I do recommend doing that. I mean, I've kind of gotten a big sheet now, and I just mix my colors, and I use those yogurt cups to do it. So anyways, yeah, and I've always made crooked houses. I always use a grid and a T-bar to make sure that my lines are perpendicular. These are little color sketches that I always do a color sketch before I actually paint to make sure I'm using complements and
Yeah.
matching up. Sorry, I get a tickle in my throat here.
Yeah, please. Feel free.
But anyways, yeah, so, and then so this video is kind of like how I put, sometimes it's especially in the wintertime when I'm in the house, I'll combine photos and overlap them and compose my painting, which is what I did here.
Okay.
And that's a smaller color sketch that I kind of grid and move around. I took the fence out of one, I put fence in another.
Okay. So this is you paint or you sketch outside, and then you bring it and you make another version of it inside your studio sometimes, right?
I do that, yes.
Okay. All right. So okay, let me go back to our PowerPoint, and then you have a couple of other videos shows the process and then how you're painting from life, which I thought, you know, is interesting to see how artists work outside. In particular, there are a lot of limitations, what color to take with you, right? What you take and what not to take, because you are not in a studio to have everything. So therefore, and it's not that you can have a truck and, you know, carry everything with you. I'm sure there are some limitation for painting from life or outside, right? Right, Karen?
Well, that's true. That's true. Although watercolor, you can bring quite a few colors in a little palette. I have several little palettes, and that I bring, and if you know, that I call my spring palette, my, you know, so I know that I'm bringing only certain colors because these things are happening in the spring. Like I knew I had that yellow for the trees, and you know, your standard colors when I did spring roofers. And the bike renter that and spring roof has started. I did actually do a full plein air study of that, and then I went home, and this is the larger painting in the middle, and that's won a couple of prizes. So I was very, very excited that I got picked with that picture by some really good artists that have picked me in watercolor societies to get that one in. Bike Renter right now is in a show, in an associate show for the New England watercolorists. That's a little color study actually that I did. I actually did a really large picture, but my color study is better than my larger picture. So I submitted that one, and that's the one that got in. And the fireworks one is just down the street. I live downtown, so they had a park, and I never really go to the park. This was looking down at the park when they were showing the fireworks, and I clicked some pictures of it. And at the time, I was looking at reflections in the street, and that when I saw it, I said, "Oh, that's the one I'm going to do." So this one is done pretty well too. I've done some smaller ones of this one, but this is the larger one that half sheet. These are half. That one's a half sheet. The fireworks, which is downtown here. And like I said, they started off as little studies, and then I developed bigger studies taking lines out. What this one was is I moved a lot of the telephone wires to try to make it more a better composition.
Yes, I bet. And emotional connection. One thing I mean, we are in a Women Month anyway, and last week was International Women Day. So, as a women artist, what do you think? What's your thought about the position of women in art world?
Well, we've always had to struggle as a woman art teacher with I always had you know, a male boss. And eventually they liked me. I was always a very, very quiet person, but if anything, teaching taught me that if I wanted to promote my programs, especially photography, and I was a woman in photography, most of it's more men that teach photography than women. I had to assert myself. So to fight for my programs, to get the materials and the cameras and the stuff that I wanted, I had to speak up. So I learned, and now as you can see, I talk a lot. So it kind of it forced me to be vocal about things, and I guess that's what I would suggest to women. Be not afraid. I might have been quiet, but I've always been a little bit fearless. And just you can't fail. You have to just push on. And for the most part, that's what I did as an art teacher. With my male bosses, they liked me. I had my last boss told me that when I was fighting to teach a course, I wanted to step out of photography and teach painting, and I wanted to do digital art. And he said to me, Karen, I can give you any course that we offer here and you'll do well, but you are the one to teach this course. So
so they can push.
They finally figured out.
Yeah, sorry for that. Go ahead.
You have to just stand your ground, and eventually they accept you for who you are, and you get what you want.
Yes, hopefully. Exactly. So women,
hopefully, not always.
Yeah,
I always knew when to step back too. I knew when I had pushed enough. I did know when to step back. You have to know that there's a fine line there that you work it, and you just have to learn it. I guess it's intuition.
You have to prove yourself.
Yes.
I don't think so. Gender.
I also had a very domineering father. My father was very domineering, so there was only so. I probably learned that from him. I was only so far I could push him, and then I had to step back too. So that came from way back. Anyways, these that you put up here, these are connections. Here's to You was one accepted by NAWA. One of the first ones I accepted. That was I was at a fair, and I had just lost two of my best friends to cancer. And when I walked by, very young, they were my age, and they lost it with breast cancer. And I walked by a fair, and I saw this woman doing that, and I decided that I wanted to paint that. And the other one, Straw Weaver, is my daughter works in Vietnam, and we had gone out to visit her, and we visited this woman that was a straw weaver who showed us how to do it. And she was just such a kind, beautiful person that I wanted to, I do very few portraits, but every once in a while I like to try one. And then Millie's Delight is, it was a picture that a good friend asked me. She had found a photo of her grandmother and on this horse, on this toy horse that you put a quarter in, and would I paint it for her? And I did, and it was behind, it was against a black a brick wall. So I decided to change the brick wall into a toy shop. So I have this one I just recently finished, and I have uploaded it to the show. So, but anyways, it was a really fun picture. It's a full sheet, and she was thrilled with the one that I gave her. I redid it. This is one I did for myself with the toy shop.
Oh, very nice. I like the background, the idea you put the you change the wall. It's
Yeah,
really
I didn't really want whatever. Okay. And these are my landscapes, and these are the no swimming is one I just finished, and Sisters 2. I finished that one. Storm Coming is a house of a friend up in Maine that I liked doing. The storm wasn't there, but I decided to put the storm in there because I just thought the colors would work. The Sunset Hanoi is when I visited my daughter in Vietnam. We were in a high rise, and all those people in the street, and it was just a beautiful scene. I wanted to do it. I have cropped that picture in. It was a larger picture, but I just felt that I didn't need to see the top of the picture, and I had more on the side. So I did crop that one in. And the one on the bottom is right here. And the one on the bottom is Plum Island in the snow.
okay.
And there's actually ships underneath that snow docked there. But anyways, that's a loose picture for me. I don't always do loose pictures.
Yeah. It's very beautiful, very alive, and
I do like color, I have to say. I'm not a brown person or a black person. I tend to radiate towards color, as you can see. And these are local pictures, actually, of my shoreline here, the Salisbury Beach and Marblehead boating. And the top one is also of the beach here in Plum Island, kids that are fishing. And I just like the way the water was swirling all over the place. And I like to throw people in my pictures every once in a while. So that's what these are. These are local pictures. And then this is my photography. I put a few pieces in because I'm still doing it. If Only is up online for NAWA, and that's Newburyport downtown here with a night picture. I was on a photo shoot with some friends when I did that. And then Standalone and Strong is, I actually took that picture while I was plein air painting. This is one of those pictures that I took that I didn't want to paint. I knew it was a photo. And I did that one. And then Central Park, I got an award for, actually. I got the Elizabeth Horman award for from you guys, NAWA. And that was when I went to visit the Guggenheim a couple of years back. And all these wonderful shadows, which I've always liked, were all over the walkway with the people. I just thought this is definitely a photo. So
yeah,
all three of these are photos. The Central Park was a colored photo. That's a straight photo. That's not a digital. The other two are digitals.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Karen. We really enjoy, and you brought us the spring a couple of weeks early, and which we all needed, right? Some warm and beautiful and colorful, and it was really, really awesome to have you in our show. Do you have any last words or suggestion or advice for our guests or for other fellow artists today?
I guess I would say just keep painting and keep doing what you like to do. The more you do it, the better you get, And retirement is wonderful. You know, I always did do something, but when you, after you retire, it's just wonderful to be able to really study what you really want to do. And so, you know, persevere, and you younger ones, you'll get there. You know,
Yeah.
I actually, a lot of these, you know, I taught because there was nothing else I could do. And now there's so many different ways you can use your art to survive. And so just keep doing it. It keeps you whole. Art keeps you whole. I've always said that to my students. Doing art makes you happier and a more wholesome person.
Yeah, and don't afraid to throw some color and mess up, and again throw some color and mess up. So that's my suggestion to you. So if you want to reach out to Karen, these are her contact information, website, email, Facebook, Instagram, etc. And if you want to reach out to Nova, you can email us, or you can follow the show Art in Conversation with Farrin in Instagram. Now we have Instagram account. And if you are Nova member, you can reach out to be in our show. If you are not Nova member, still you have a few more days to apply to become a member of Nova. Thank you very much, everyone, and looking forward to our next month's show. Thank you very much, Karen, for being in our show.
Thank you, Farrin. This has been a very nice conversation.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Have a great day.